Yes, and welcome to today's broadcast of Live in the Tank with Aaron Harrison and Keith Deyo. Coming to you with another outdoor broadcast as the rain has finally stopped and power is being returned to the area. So we want to bring you an interesting topic today, and it's regarding the quest and thinking about existence and at what level we are all existing here. And what type of energy are we emitting, and what type of energy are we recognizing in order to create something that will ultimately be what we're remembered for and ultimately be our legacy. And so I think that's important as you look at those things that you do every day, and as you decide, is what I'm doing legacy driven, or is it doing, or am I constantly reacting to my environment? And in that reaction to my environment, what kind of results am I getting? So I've been presented with a series of questions that have really elicited some pretty deep thought. And I've had to put the energy in and the time in to really dissect those things. And as I did that this morning with Aaron, as he comes onto the broadcast, we both were led to another series of questions, a series of questions that may be more relatable to someone that may not follow this type of personal development, and allow them to get more involved in their very existence. Give them more depth of thought. Allow them to identify some of those things that they're doing in everyday life and how important they ultimately are to that dash that's going to be represented, or what's going to represent that dash on their tombstone between date of birth and date of death, as we change forms from this human form that we've now been a part of for so long, and then this spiritual form that we ultimately become, depending on what you believe in. So as we move forward on this Thursday, and as Aaron comes to the broadcast, I think I'll send you another request here, Aaron. It's here we go. Send you another request. What I would love to see is in the comment section, what are some of the things that you will ultimately be remembered for based on what you've currently done? And then under it, I'd love to see a comment on that same thread of what you know, based on the direction you're moving, you will be remembered for. So it's legacy-based questions like this that will give us a greater clarity around what we're doing every single day and the direction that our ship is pointed in. I mean, if you look at it and you know anything about flights or about navigation, the destination is simply from point A to Z on a map. But the amount of times that a flight or a ship has to course correct along the process is numbing to the average person. But it is also part of that journey, as long as you are ultimately finding your way back. And so it's something that you're not only going to arrive at your destination, but are you the type of person that's going to leave breadcrumbs? And the reason why those breadcrumb levers are important is because, is what you're doing duplicatable enough or memorable enough that somebody can take it and expand upon it? Not just do exactly what you do, but expand upon it. Allow it to compound long after you've been gone. That's what legacy is. And so I'm not sure why Aaron isn't coming up on the broadcast here, but I'll continue to look at some of the things that we spoke, or talk about some of the things that we spoke about today, and see if I can send out another invite. It says you're invited, Aaron, so if you can send an invite back to me, that'd be great. Let me see if it's due to the Wi-Fi. All right, so see if it's something you can send it back, Aaron. Hey, Chantel, how's it going? Big time. Hey, Aaron. I just jumped off the Wi-Fi. I sent an invite to you, so let's see if you can go ahead and send it back. But really, in the comment section, as you think about those two questions, what if you were to take a look at what you've currently done and the impact you've had in your environment, or all the environments that you've been in over your lifetime to this day, as trucks go by, what are some of the greatest things you'll be remembered for? And then based on what you're currently doing, what are some of the things that you will continue to be remembered for as you continue to exist, as you continue to move on towards whatever that destination is that you choose? What are some of the things that you most look forward to that are going to build upon your legacy? And if it were all to end suddenly, which is a risk we all take, or it's part of existence, is not knowing fully when your time has come. If it were to all end abruptly, based on what you've currently done, would it be worthy of a legacy, or would it be remembered in only a few minds or a few hearts after you leave? So what we're looking at is seeing some of these comments come up based on what you've currently done. What are some of the things that will be left behind, so that people can not only do the exact same thing you did, but compound upon all of the things that you've done, everything that you've brought to fruition. What is that going to provide and be left for others? And that's really how you create legacy. I'm going to go ahead and approve Aaron, because he had some great insight on this question as we dissected it and continue to translate it this morning. So as we're waiting for Aaron to come on, Michael Crimmy, what's going on? Michelle, Eugene, what's up, everybody? Maritza, Chantel, Pat, Madalino, Gina, Aaron, come on, baby. On this broadcast, Arthur's here, Ray's here. There we go, Aaron.
What up, man?
So we're talking.
We always love the great technology, brother. We got to force the bill here. We do live so much. We must find the ins and outs. So I'm going to be calling Mark Zuckerberg a little later, let him know. Say, listen, bro, your stuff hasn't been tested enough to be consistent. But no, what's going on, people? Happy Thursday, brother.
We're talking about that quest, Aaron. We're talking about legacy. Are you legacy driven or are you reactive? And the difference between the two can be so unnoticeable at times. We all float back and forth. And it's and now the greater the more clarity you have around what that looks like and what the version of you that happens in both those circumstances, whether you're legacy driven and focused or if you're reactive, once you recognize those results and who you are in that environment, you're like, whoa, all right, that's not who I am. Let me go back, time out, regroup, come back at it. So in knowing that, Aaron, and understanding that you are very extremely legacy driven now in this current version of you and the truths that you believe in today, I know without a doubt that you're legacy driven and you're focused. There's very little part of your day that you're reactive. Now, we have children, we have things that don't always go as planned, as we plan them, but always as planned. And we do react at times, but it's very short. It's maybe a 5%, 10% of our day. So as you think about this question and the legacy that you've created to this point and the legacy that you'll continue to create, what will you be remembered for till up to today compared to what you will be continue to be remembered for as you continue this existence that you?
Yeah, no, I love that question, Keith, and it's really been got my mind spinning and the wheels turning, since you asked me that question about an hour ago. And one of the things that I've been reading is something about how we can guide ourselves through this channel of life, right? Because life has so many facets to it. It has relationships, it has emotion, it has circumstances, it has situations, it has challenges, it has achievements, it has so many different things. And so as we kind of look at this thing called life, and I look at what I've done along the way, is I've helped to identify that my life is driven from my heart, not my mind. And at one point, I needed to realize what that meant. And the mind has limits, okay? And with those limits come emotion. Hey, Quinn, what's going on, girl? With that mind comes limits. However, with our heart comes abundance. And so as you look at your tasks throughout the day, and you look at your calendar for the rest of the afternoon, what is it that you've accomplished up to this point? And does any of that pertain to what you've always wanted to accomplish? And what I mean by always accomplish is what brings you joy, knowing that you've finished. So if anybody has ever and played it through entirety, right? And went through the whole end of it and finished the game, the accomplishment that you feel when you finish something, it comes with great joy, especially if you've accomplished what you set out to do to win, right? And that would be what winning is, right? Is accomplishing all the goals that you set out to do while playing this game or while taking on this task. So if I look at my calendar today and I look at all the things that I have listed there, every single one of those tasks on there have a purpose. Okay, it has something that's driving me from within my heart to go ahead and accomplish for a bigger picture. Okay, and most of it is to help others to translate where they are right now so that they can move forward with the same information they've been given, but just a different bifocals or a different dictionary of explanation. So that's been my heart-driven goal. And it took me some time to get there, Keith. And it took me a chance to really learn more about myself. And one of the biggest factors is that you must be insane. You must be insane and love what you do, okay, to seek the goals and the greatness that you've been designed in. You must be insane, because if you're not insane, that means you're living in your mind. Okay, you must live in your heart. So you have to let go. You have to let go of the control, and you have to get into the groove. Now, along the way, you're going to face, okay, you're going to face some obstacles, and those obstacles are there to strengthen you. Okay, they're there to strengthen you and to really test whether or not you're working from your heart or your mind. Now, as we talk about reaction, one of the things that came to my mind, Keith, as you said that, is I remember being a ball player, right? So being on the football field and having instincts. Okay, now instincts and reactive instincts are things that we grow, and they become habits, right? They're unconscious habits that we do. So I remember running through a hole, and at one point, I'm thinking of the linebacker standing in the hole and what I had to do. Eventually, what I ended up having to do is I had to let go of that control and just keep focused on where it was that I was going. And it was, 5 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards, whatever it took to score or to accomplish the first down that the coach wanted or wherever the team needed at the time. And so as I started thinking about how well I reacted, the reaction only came with influence, and it only came with experience. And it was me that learned from every single influence and every single experience, so that therefore those memories were logged into my mind, and I was able to react unconsciously. And so as we go through life, if we're working from our heart, our influence and our experience will always be things of reference that we can go back to if we've learned from them. But we also have the choice to let go of those experiences, because either they've been too painful or just really didn't make any sense, right? So as we go through that, Keith, my goal is to help not only my children, but also myself understand that dash and that legacy. And so that's the difference between reacting and living in your mind, and living in your heart and out of your love, and also using those experiences and influence to help you to be reactive unconsciously. So there's a lot of facets to this, but the one cool thing I learned about this question this morning, Keith, is at this point, how close are you to achieving all the things you ever wanted to accomplish? And as you answer that question, I want you to think about, as your schedule lays out this afternoon, how many things on that calendar pertain to those things that you always wanted to accomplish? And as you start to reflect on your calendar today and the things that you've always wanted to accomplish, make the adjustments. Okay? Even if the last time you addressed something that you wanted to do was so painful, or the journey that it was going to take you to go through was so misguided and not even made any sense, just give it a shot again. Look at it again. Right? Look at it again and make those adjustments so that there's a percentage more each day. And as we've learned before, Keith, right, if we improve 1% every single day for a year, we're 365% closer to achieving, right? So that is actually overachieving, because 100% is 100%. You can never go over 100%. Or if you do, it's overachieving, and so you're going to get closer to your goal. But you're going to need to make those adjustments, even if they're really painful. And that's what we want. We want to bring up awareness, and I reflect that with my calendar. I reflect that with my goals and things I want to accomplish. And ultimately, who's going to be impacted by the decisions that I make today? Because I know that just like their lives aren't promised, my life's not promised. And so it's my duty and obligation to become better every single day and closer to the things that I've been destined to be accomplished.
Yeah, I love that, Aaron. So, I mean, to take a look at it and to dive deeper and start to allow your thought process to go from your head to your heart, and that's a huge jump, because it takes energy to allow a thought to get that far down, and it also means that there can't be many kinks in the way, because it's got to, not only is it going to go from your head to your heart, it's also got to go back up, because as unfortunate at times that it may seem that our mind or our brain, or this archaic version of what existence is that our brain still remembers, and the operating system that it's been operating from for so long, it still is a necessary piece of existence for us, based on what we know in the body that we've been given. Because there's crazy science out there that I've seen that you don't even need a brain and you can survive. So that's on another level. But that's the existence that we have. So most of the people on this, they do have a brain. Some of the women probably look at the guys and go, I can't, how can you possibly have a brain and have done that? But either way, we do. So not only do we need to allow the thought, or we get to allow the thought to go past our mind into our heart, it also has to go back up. And so it may be painful because there may be a lot of blockages and thorns in the way. And you have to, and then to get that thought down there, maybe a painful process, but it's just like any muscle. It may be gunked up. Once you have that process, once you are operating from that system of freedom, your true self will be let out a lot more. And as that true self is let out, and as that creative process is given a chance and trusted, that you believe in yourself to the point where whatever you create or have created has a purpose and can be used above and beyond what you could possibly imagine, so that not only are you duplicatable, but your ideas and your influence is then built upon long after you've been gone. Now, in my mind, that's where I would like to be remembered as this legacy, living this legacy that will be remembered and will be built upon for years to come. And that's simply sharing messages like we share today, Aaron. Because these will live on. These messages that we share, and these thoughts, these moments of influence and decisions of what is truth, what isn't, these messages will live on. And as our viewers come up and as they leave comments and as this is going to be shared all over the world, there'll be different cultures dissecting this message and thinking deeper thoughts about this message, or maybe even shallower thoughts about this message, wherever they are in the process. The bottom line is discussions will be had. And I think that literally, that evolution of discussion and the passing of energies through people and to people is literally what I know at this point that I've been born to do. With this current understanding of my existence, that's what I was born to do. I was born to irritate and agitate. Right?
Yeah.
I was born to... It shows up every day, because sometimes things aren't always said directly to me, but they're said about me or around me. And I own that. I was born to irritate and agitate, but not debilitate. And so it can be a fine line at times where I can agitate and irritate somebody, or I can walk up to somebody and yeah, because Kara knows, right? Kara's been a part of that. So there are days when I have that fire hose effect on people where I'll just crush them. And then I often, as I get better at irritating and agitating, right? I'm like a scrub brush, right? There's got to be bristles involved, so there's going to be some pain involved. And I go through the same thing too. And I have people in my life that irritate and agitate me, and I understand. I don't blame them for that process. I thank them for it, because if you want to look at an analogy, Aaron, that I've used recently, it's a snow globe. And if our life if we are to live and exist inside a snow globe, everything that we were born with from our childhood has settled at the bottom there. All the greatest things about us is all settled at the bottom. And we need people in our life or things in our life to come along and shake the shit out of that snow globe. Literally shake it, to get those things back up, to allow us to see that child, to allow us to dream again, and to really understand that when I was creating and I was working to figure out who I was, that was literally when I was at my best. When I was childlike, I was at my best. I saw a quote from somebody that they said, instead of waking up every morning or making sure on a daily basis that you dance like nobody is watching, how about dance like a toddler, somebody who would dance without even music, that don't even know to care. So remember that we are all children inside us, and the more we let that out, the more that snow globe is shaken. As those things settle back to back down and get into their layers, we're gonna be able to direct what goes to the bottom what becomes forgotten and what we allow to rise to the top. And it's the shaking of the snow globe that sometimes throws us off. And it's like, why did you do that? Like, God, like, so it's that pattern interruptibility that we've both been given. And really being able to go around and shake things up. I don't feel bad for doing what I do. It's what I was born to do. But there is times when people's feelings are closer to the surface or they're going through something that they may react. They may be in a reactive state, not in a focused, legacy-driven state. And so those that stay around me understand that that's the process and that that's a gift. And those that don't or keep their distance, that's also choice.
Some people are a can of kombucha, right?
Yeah.
It's not meant to be shaken. If it shakes, it explodes. And I've shaken a few bottles in my day, and I've ruined my pants with it, right? Because I thought that it was like anything else, that I could shake it up and make the good stuff from the bottom go to the top. And so as we translate these things in life and we identify who we're working with, the great thing about life is that we get to share an experience. And I love this platform. Because we know that this will pop up 10 years from now, Keith.
Yeah, well.
And whether we see it or not, someone else will see it 10 years from now, as long as, Facebook exists. And the cool thing about this media is that this does live on, and it will be shared, and some people may download it. And the great thing about it is that we encourage everyone to share their thoughts and ideas, because what once was just a light bulb has now revolutionized the world in 2018, right? Do you think that when the light bulb was developed, that all it was going to do was make light, right? At the first point, that's all it was to do. But as it evolved and people used that information, that creation to create so much more, that's what it's what we've all been called to do, right? We've been created to do something as a piece of something bigger. And we limit ourselves because we become reactive in our mind in what we truly feel is unfeared. However, when challenges are arised and things are challenged, now all of a sudden it's our job to be that puzzle piece, to make a picture bigger, even though you can't see it all. Be your best puzzle piece. Plug in, share your value, show your edges to everyone and say, hey, listen, do I fit? Do I fit? Do I fit?
Oh,
do I fit?
man.
And don't stop asking that question. Because the second you stop asking that question, your pieces become all flat with no edges and obsolete.
Damn, find the edges, find the corners first, right? Find the corners of your comfort zone, step outside them, take a look and see what's needed. Wow, I love when you bring back the puzzle analogy, man. That gets me every single time. So thank you to everybody, man. This has been interesting. Aaron and I have had some great conversations that will continue throughout the day as we spend this day with our children and we spend this day in peace and harmony and exist in our existence with everybody. Legacy driven is what we're looking for. We appreciate all the comments, the loves, the likes, and so look forward to this being shared with the hundreds and thousands of people all over the world. And for everyone that's been touched or moved, continue to comment in here. Leave what your current legacy is as of today and what you most look forward to doing as of tomorrow and the rest of your very existence. And we will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, hopefully from a electricity-driven, Wi-Fi-enabled sports dome office that I have in Connecticut. I love the on location, but I also like our office. So we will see you tomorrow. Have an amazing day.
Let's go, people.